Hãy để mỗi lần tắm là một lần chăm sóc cho làn da của bạn với sữa tắm cá ngựa Our Turmeric Perfume Shower Gel, một sản phẩm từ nước Đức, được chiết xuất từ các loài hoa thiên nhiên, nhiều loại vitamin và protein. Sữa tắm cá ngựa không chỉ làm sạch da mà còn dưỡng ẩm, mang lại một làn da mịn màng, căng tràn sức sống. Với hương nước hoa quý phái lưu lại suốt 24 giờ, sản phẩm từ thương hiệu Our Turmeric đã chinh phục hàng triệu người dùng tại châu Âu. Tại Sydney, sản phẩm hiện đang được bán tại siêu thị Nam Phương ở Cabramatta và siêu thị Cycle ở Canley. Để làm đại lý phân phối, xin liên lạc đài VTA qua số 0452 067 535.
Có một loại nước mắm thuần khiết, sinh ra để làm nên sự khác biệt, gói trọn tinh hoa của biển cả, đánh thức hương vị đậm đà thượng hạng, đẳng cấp, sang trọng, là món quà tình thân ý nghĩa để luôn nhắc ta nhớ về cội nguồn. Nước mắm Hoàng gia, tinh hoa đất Việt.
Nước mắm Hoàng gia hiện nay đã có mặt tại tất cả các tiểu bang trên toàn quốc Úc Châu với 3 kích cỡ khác nhau, bao gồm 250ml, 500ml và 750ml. Tại Melbourne, nước mắm Hoàng gia đang được phân phối bởi công ty Oxford Foods và bán lẻ tại các siêu thị và nhà hàng. Mọi chi tiết xin liên lạc anh Tony Bùi 0481 177 996.
Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's Sunday show on Viet TV Australia YouTube. Now guys, this week I have something very important that we want to talk about, especially some new updates that's happening in the area. So I have brought a very special person. I'm sure you guys have all met him before, but he will be here to introduce himself. We, or myself anyways, like to call him as the godfather of Canley. Tan, welcome to the Sunday show. Yeah, so Tan, I know recently we have spoken quite a bit and you and I have been doing a lot of things in Canley together.
Yep.
Can you just share with our viewers just a little bit of background about yourself on how, how did you get here and how did you become the person that you are today, which is like, business owner, philanthropist, helping the community, Give us a quick spiel about yourself.
All right, okay. So where I started was in Canley Heights. Back then it's called the Canley Heights Hotel, but a lot of people know as the Bistro.
Bistro,
the
yes.
Bistro, because the place is known for their steak.
Yeah.
So I started there in the year 2000.
Yeah.
And then later on, I went and opened Bar 53, and that at the moment is in Canley.
Yes. Now I'm sure you guys have been, or if you have been to Canley, Bar 53, by far, to me anyway, personally, I believe is probably one of the most popular bars in Sydney, right? And it's, been one of the most biggest attractions bringing people down to Canley. So, I know, like, as a business owner myself, in order for you to drive something from nothing is very difficult.
Yep.
So, tell us a little bit about that journey of the Bar 53.
So what it is like, no, we are, because I've been around in the area for a long time. Well, I've grown up in the area, so that's why, the people, come to Bar 53, they are pretty much my friend or the friends of friends or whatnot. So it's like a friendly bar.
Yes.
It's like, what is it? Bar 53 is like, the theme of it is like, the no place like home, which is like a place where, you can go and relax and, and have a chat to your friend or whatnot without, all the machines, without all the gambling involved.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. That's what Bar 53 is
especially like, because I live in, the Cabramatta region, I've looked at the map and within this map of ours, 2166 postcode, I think there's at least 5 machine places, for people to gamble with.
Correct.
So, we're highly dense with those type of places. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Bar 53 is not one of those places where, it's more lean towards gambling.
Yep.
It's more lean towards a family orientated, like you said, no place like home.
Yep.
So I know lately, like, there's a lot of stigma when it comes to bars and all that stuff.
Yep.
And, we've never heard about any big incidents that's happened at your place.
No.
Yeah. So, how do you, as a business owner, control those type of things so well, like you've done?
What it is like, no, we myself know my customers. So when they come in, they are pretty much like family and friends. So they come to respect the place, and they actually look out for if there's any incident that would about to occur, they will actually come up and seriously notify us straight away. And it's a friendly place. Nobody's we don't get out towners coming in actually looking for trouble. So that's the thing about it.
So so Bar 53, like I go there very often myself, and I even go there by myself sometimes, just to literally just wind down from my work if I'm feeling a little bit stressed out. Have a beautiful steak, by the way. If you guys are looking for a steak that is nice in Canley Vale area, you got to go and check out Bar 53.
Thank you.
Whereas Tan, I know, beyond you being a business owner, you've recently are also part of the board member for the new initiative association called Little Asia.
Little Asia, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, lately, for the last, I think about 6 months, give or take,
Yep.
this Little Asia thing has been taken off.
It has.
Right?
It has.
I see you on Sydney Morning Herald. Yep. I see you on here, Viet TV Australia now. Yep. I see you on Daily Telegraph.
Yep.
So I can see that your team, and, obviously myself included as well, I'm part of the team.
Yes.
Our team has, in the last 6 months, from not knowing anything, to now slowly creating something that can be very memorable especially for the viewers and for the people in the area.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about what Canley Vale, our vision is in terms of entertainment precinct and what is the future to come?
Yes. As you all know, Canley Vale has come from a long way. Back then, Canley Vale is just a place where it's quiet. There's not much happening. Canley Heights has always been the vibrant place where people go for late dining and whatnot. Now, Canley Vale, I think, ever since being in Canley Vale for the last 8 years, coming on to the 9 years now, it's actually grown in the last year. It actually has grown, and we actually, have a lot more nightlife now coming into Canley Vale. And with this new Little Asia thing, I think it's catapulted, this area up and bring it to, other suburb, and people they know of Canley Vale now. And it's known as Little Asia.
That's right. So Tan and I and our team has been working tirelessly for the last 12 months, attending a lot of New South Wales state level government initiatives in order to create this Little Asia precinct. So our ultimate goal in the future is, if you don't live in town, you wouldn't know the difference between a Canley Heights, a Canley Vale or Cabramatta. But our goal is in the near future that you're from out of town, you want to come to one place called Little Asia, which combines Canley Vale, Canley Heights and Cabramatta all into one.
Yep.
Little Asia. Look out for that, guys. It's going to be the new thing. Tan and myself have been working very, very tirelessly and, playing on the whole Little Asia LA theme. I know that we're also having something in the works within Little Asia.
Yes.
Also acronym LA, right? So maybe you can, let the viewers know, what they can expect in the coming weeks or month.
Yep, there's big thing happening in Canley Vale or Little Asia. We are activating an area next to Kookaburra Hotel. It was known as Richards on the Park, but now, ever since the takeover of Lewis Hotel, they changed the name to Kookaburra Hotel, which is the original name when it first opened. So right next to it is a house that we are activating, and we are turning it into Làng, which is a eating village or street food. Can you tell a bit more about it? Yep.
Yeah. So the word Làng, we really like that because Làng means town. And if you talk about Vietnam culture, everyone kind of lives in a very town kind of vibe. Meaning that if I ran out of rice, here, everyone's so private. Especially the Australian lifestyle, we don't really, I actually don't even know what my neighbours' names are, right? But when you go to a Vietnam town, everyone kind of knows each other and everyone helps each other.
Yes.
So let's say if I ran out of rice, I can actually just say, hey, you got some rice? And then, the neighbour will bring it over. So that's the word Làng translated to, and that's what we want to create that vibe. Làng, so a town with street food is what we're trying to create. Now, not so much of the food itself, right? But we're trying to create a vibe.
Yes.
Something that anyone, Sydney-siders, if they don't have anything to do, they feel a little bit bored, they can come down to LA, come down to Làng. There's always going to be at least some sort of food for them, some sort of entertainment for them.
Yes.
And our goal is to open to at least midnight every single day.
Yes.
Right? And the vibe that we want to create, just like I'm sure you've been to Vietnam, and you know, if you go to those cafes,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Which is like a big land, but they turn it into more of a coffee style.
Yes.
So you get a little bit of the nature, you get a little bit of a scenery, sometimes even some water. Yeah.
And
Hammocks, you know, so it's the vibe that we want to create, and it's coming to Little Asia, it's coming to Canley Vale. We hope that you guys come and join us. You can't miss it. Yeah. If you drive down Canley Vale Road, you will definitely see it.
Yes.
Yeah, we created a color theme that is very unmissable.
Yes.
Yeah, so Tan, touching all on the things that you've done so far as a business owner, if you can share with our viewers, maybe just once, because like the reason why I'm bringing up this, right, let me backtrack 2 seconds. Normally a lot of people understand this type of life. They go to school, they get good grades, and they go to university.
Yes.
And they come out and be a good employee.
Yes.
Now, very uncommonly do people switch from employee to self-employed, right? Obviously, there's a lot of fear making that jump because there's a lot of risk involved.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So as a very long-term business owner and operator for the last decades that you've been doing, can you share with our viewers just a basic tip or two on what they can expect or what they can look out for, or you know, just something that they can use for themselves?
Well, everything comes with a struggle, and you know, seriously, for me as an employee, getting out and actually, you know, owning a business, that was the hardest and the hardest step. But you know, once I made that decision, I didn't look back. You know, but there was a lot of struggle along the way because my first business, it was thriving, but at the same time it wasn't making money. But that comes, you know, with that I actually learned a valuable lesson. Even though it failed, it didn't fail too badly, but it did, you know, didn't make as much money as I thought it you know, anticipated. But I actually learned a lot from it, and then now, you know, every business that I you know, get into, I do my due diligence and you know, making sure that, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, lose out. So you know, you got to make mistake. You know, you make the mistake and you learn from that mistake. You know, but the hardest thing is, you know, getting up and, you know,
making that first step, right? Even for myself, like I've always been an employee for another person. You know, that time when the opportunity was handed to me, I was scared. I was so scared that I almost walked away from the deal. Because, you know, I mean, human nature, you always think about what won't work first, right? And then all those things start popping into your head, and then you go, oh, maybe not, because, you know, I want some security at the same time, right? But yes, like you said, man, I will never look back. I can't even imagine myself going back to being an employee right now. Because employee is great, you have security, but you don't have control of your own time. Right? Whereas you jump over to being self-employed, you lose that security a little bit, but you control your time, which in the end of the day, we value time more than money. Or for me anyway, you know, time is so much more valuable to me right now than the money itself. Because, you know, Sydney life, or, you know, life in general now has been so difficult. We got mortgage to pay. We got all these overheads. We got a lot of fear with the uncertainty that's happening in the world lately. Right? So yes, making that leap, make the mistake, because you're gonna make it. There is no businessman or anyone that has succeeded in anything in life that has not failed at things that they've done. They fail, they learn from it, they refine themselves, and they try again. They keep trying, refining, keep trying, refining, until they find optimum, where they know, okay, this works for me now, right?
Yes.
So when you say the word due diligence, what exactly does that mean? Like, let's say, all right, I'll give you an example. There is a business that's up for sale.
Yep.
They say they make this month on a monthly basis. So you have interest in this type of business. A restaurant, for example,
Yes,
they
yes.
claim they make 50,000 a month
Yep,
on
yep.
paper.
Yes.
So what type of things, due diligence-wise, are you looking at when you making a decision?
All right. Okay. So with that, you gotta really do your homework and actually work out. Okay, yes, they can be making that much, but at the same time, how much work are they putting in? At the same time, how much, if they were to be there for a while, you got to work out, all right, okay, why is this person selling? At the same time, seriously, can it make, potential is one thing, but potential is hard. Potential, seriously, like the person before you, work on potential as well. And, if they can get up to that part, then seriously, for you to jump in, what difference can you make to make it better, or to be better than them, so you really got to work it out. So you guys got great tip, by the way, and that is from a true operator, because what you see on paper and what is actual is actually most of the time two different things. Exactly.
Even for my business, when I saw it, like on paper it looks great, but when you jump into it and you realize, man, in order for that potential to happen, I need to put in 100 hours.
Exactly.
Right? So sometimes it becomes a golden handcuff business, right? Like where I can't go anywhere, I can't go on holidays, I can't take time off sometimes in order for that potential to be realized.
Yes.
So yes, there is a lot of due diligence. Not everything that you see on the profit and loss statement is an actual thing. Once you jump into it, you start to see a lot of variations from that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And what about like, if let's say a person has never done business before, what is the first thing that they need to do, in your opinion, for them to just even get started?
So, well, first off, they gotta, the business they're getting into, they gotta be interested, or they gotta know the industry, because you can't just go and buy a business because you see other people succeed in it. You gotta know the industry. You gotta know what you're doing before you get into it. Because for myself, I've always been in hospitality, but if I were to see a business up for sale, like say a clothing store or something, that's not my industry. So if I would just buy it because I see other people succeed in it, then I think that's the wrong move, because I gotta know the industry first. I gotta know, seriously, the ins and outs, and how much labor I had to put in to get that, to get the net. Great
tip. And that's exactly like for me, like, I've always been interested in the hospitality industry, but I know nothing about it. And that's why I'm scared when I want to jump into that. So Tan gave a great tip there. So let's say if you want to open up a restaurant, for example, you want to get into the hospitality. Without the skills and expertise, it's probably better if you go and work for someone first in that industry, learn the nitty-gritty of the business. Then once you gain that skill, then you can branch out and be on your own. Would you say that's probably the best way to do it?
I think that's the best way to do it, because simply none of this, you can't learn this in school. You can't learn this at uni. You got to really get in, especially in hospitality, especially, if you were to be buying a small business, you got to be working in the business, or you got to know the industry before then you actually decide on opening a business like that. So.
And just like anything, it doesn't matter if you want to do hospitality or real estate like myself, there is no way that if you've never done real estate before and you see there's an opportunity to buy a real estate office, there is no way that you'll be able to do it without the skills and expertise, because there's a lot of legals involved. So yes, Tan gave a very good tip. Know your industry, have expertise. Then once you have the expertise, then you can branch out and start your own business. Okay, so guys, we have came to the point of understanding a lot about Tan and what he's been doing for the whole 2166 postcode, Canley, Vale, Cabramatta, Little Asia as a whole. So you guys, if you ever want to look for Tan, he's gonna be at Bar 53 or the new Làng in Canley Vale in Little Asia. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's Sunday show. Thank you, Tan.
Thank you.
Yeah.